It may feel like rejection, but it's redirection. It may feel like delay, but it's development. It may feel like silence, but it's sacred design. So stop comparing, stop doubting, stop assuming that others are ahead just because they've reached something sooner. In the eyes of the world, they may look ahead, but in the plan of Allah, you are exactly where you need to be. And perhaps Allah is making you wait because the marriage you're being prepared for is not ordinary. It is prophetic, and prophetic marriages require prophetic preparation. You are not behind. You are being built. You are not forgotten. You are being formed. You are not unloved. You are being aligned. And when it comes, you will know it will feel like a home you've never lived in, but always longed for. Because prophetic love does not just fit your dunya. It fits your deen. It fits your destiny. And until that day comes, walk with dignity. Speak with purpose. Grow in solitude. And believe with conviction that the one who paired Adam and Hawa, Musa and Sephora, Muhammad and Khadijah, will not leave your story unwritten. He is Al-Mujib. He is Al-Mujib. He is Al-Mujib. The one who responds, and he is already responding, just not in the way the world claps for, but in the way your soul needs. Now here are the 5 signs that Allah is getting you ready for a prophetic marriage one, or being isolated from people who once defined your worth. At first, that sounds painful, and it is. But it is also one of the clearest and most powerful signs that Allah is preparing you for a greater, more prophetic form of love. Here's what it means. You may have noticed that lately people are walking away from your life. Or maybe you're the one walking away, but not out of arrogance, out of survival. Maybe certain friendships are no longer deep. Certain people who once validated you, praised you, made you feel seen, now feel distant, cold, even harmful. You try to hold on. You keep giving them chances. You try to adjust yourself to stay lovable, accepted, connected, but it's not working. And eventually, either by force or choice, you're left with distance, silence, or separation. Now your heart aches because you think you've been rejected, but that's not the truth. The truth is this: you're being isolated, divinely isolated, so that you no longer build your worth around people. Because what Allah is about to give you next requires you to build your worth around Him alone. When you build your identity around people, around being needed, loved, praised, admired, you are always one mood swing away from feeling broken. You are always one rejection away from collapse. You are emotionally fragile. You are unstable. You are trying to build a palace of love on sand. And Allah loves you too much to let that happen. So He removes them, not to punish you, but to wake you. Just like the Prophet had to experience the year of sorrow, losing both Khadijah and Abu Talib in the same year, before he was spiritually elevated in the journey of Isra and Miraj. That moment of deep human loss was a precursor to divine elevation. When people were removed, Allah took them closer. The same is happening to you. In your emotional universe, certain stars are falling, but it's only so the sun can rise. The sun of knowing that your value is not tied to any human being, that you are not loved because you are useful, pretty, entertaining, or agreeable. You are loved because Allah chose to love you. He created you, honored you, and knows every cell in you. And when you realize that, you begin to detach your self-worth from temporary people and anchor it in eternal truths. From a psychological point of view, this is called individuation. It's a process described in depth by Carl Jung and modern Islamic therapists alike. It's when you stop defining yourself by your relationships and you begin discovering who you are outside of who others need you to be. It's painful, yes, but it's also the birth of real self-respect. Because if you don't know your worth before marriage, you will depend on your spouse to constantly prove it to you. And that's not love, that's emotional dependency. Prophetic marriage is not built on dependency. It's built on 2 whole people, already standing in their own value, already anchored in their own purpose, coming together for something greater than themselves. So Allah isolates you now, so that when someone comes in the future and says, "You are everything I prayed for," you won't melt from neediness. You will smile with calm confidence and reply, "Alhamdulillah. But even if you hadn't come, I was already enough with Allah." That's what isolation teaches you. Teaches you the power of being alone without being lonely. It teaches you the value of silence, the strength of solitude. It teaches you that your worth was never in their hands to begin with. And most importantly, it teaches you that when you stop chasing people and start chasing Allah, you attract people who are chasing Him too. You being isolated right now is not rejection. It is divine preparation. Allah is pulling you away from lesser love so He can prepare you for a greater one. A love that is not rooted in insecurity, but in Aman. Not in approval, but in purpose. Not in fear, but in taqwa. And when that person comes, you won't be confused. Because you didn't just wait. You became someone who is no longer defined by people, but defined by Allah. And that right there is the first sign that you're being prepared for a prophetic marriage. 2, you're going through emotional healing that doesn't make sense to others. This one is subtle. This one is often the most silent form of divine preparation and the most misunderstood. Let me paint the picture. You're not broken anymore, but you're not fully healed either. You smile in public, but cry in private. You're functioning, working, showing up, but something inside still feels like it's under construction. You're feeling things you thought you'd already dealt with. You're remembering things you thought you'd forgotten. You're confronting emotions you never wanted to name. And the people around you, they don't get it. They say you're being too sensitive. They say you just move on already. They say, why are you still thinking about that? They don't see the storm inside. They don't understand why it still hurts, why you're still digging, still praying, still searching for meaning and pain they consider irrelevant. But listen carefully. That is not weakness. That is not regression. That is not being dramatic. That is healing, true healing. And sometimes true healing looks like breaking. But what's really breaking is not your soul. It's the shell around it. You see, most people cover pain. They don't heal it. They distract it, deny it, suppress it, or spiritualize it without ever actually processing it. But Allah wants more for you. He doesn't want you to enter marriage with buried wounds. He doesn't want you to carry trust issues, bitterness, fear, and insecurity into a love meant to reflect His mercy. So He is healing you properly, deeply, even if no one else understands what's happening inside you. This is why you're crying out of nowhere. This is why you're revisiting old journals, childhood memories, past rejections, old relationships, broken friendships, unmet needs. This is why you're asking questions like, why did that affect me so deeply? Why didn't I speak up back then? Why do I fear abandonment so much? Why do I feel unworthy of being chosen? These are not breakdowns. These are breakthroughs. Allah is pulling you inward. He's turning your pain into a mirror. And He's saying, look, let's finally deal with this. Let's finally clean the wound so it doesn't bleed on your future. Even the prophet Le Prophet was given seasons of isolation. Even he went to the cave of Hira alone before revelation came. Why? Because solitude bursts truth, because healing requires quiet, and because preparation for something divine cannot happen in the noise of the world. From a psychological perspective, this is often referred to as inner child work or emotional reprocessing, all of which involve confronting the root of emotional pain instead of covering the symptom. This kind of healing is slow, layered, and often invisible to others. But you will feel it. You'll feel your heart getting softer but stronger. You'll feel your forgiveness becoming real, not performative. You'll feel your need for revenge dissolve into peace. You'll feel your trust in Allah begin to override your fear of people. You'll feel yourself finally letting go, not because you forgot, but because you processed. And here's the most beautiful part. This healing that doesn't make sense to others, it makes complete sense to the one you're being prepared for. Because they too will have scars. They too will have stories. And you will meet them not as a half, but as a healed soul. Not perfect, not untouched, but whole. Honest, ready. You are not too emotional. You are emotionally intelligent. You are not too sensitive. You are spiritually aware. You are not falling apart anymore. You are finally allowing Allah to put you back together in the right way. And that's why others don't get it, because it's not their healing. It's yours. It's personal, private, divine. Custom designed by the one who knows your every tear, your every heartbreak, your every suppressed memory, and who is now turning it all into strength So if no one sees what you're going through, don't stop, because Allah sees, and that's enough. 3, you're developing spiritual strength in private. No one sees it, no one praises it, no one claps for it, but it's happening slowly, consistently, quietly. And this is one of the clearest signs that Allah is preparing you, not just for any marriage, but for a prophetic one. Because prophetic marriages aren't built in public. They are built in private obedience. And private obedience starts long before you ever say, I do. Now let me explain. There's a shift happening inside you. You're not just doing religious acts because you're told to. You're not just praying because it's cultural. You're not just reading Quran for the sake of reward. You're starting to feel it. You're starting to crave connection, not validation. You're starting to pray not out of guilt, but out of yearning. You're beginning to talk to Allah like he's not just your Lord, but your closest friend. And here's the key. No one else knows. This is not something you post about. This is not something people comment a mash aloe on. This is not a public transformation. This is a sacred transaction between your soul and your creator. You're waking up for tahajjud, but not every night. You're whispering dua as you cook, as you walk away, tears that no one knows fell. You're asking Allah for more than just a spouse. You're asking him to make you worthy of one. You're falling in love with Quran verses you never noticed before. You're feeling moved by a hadith that speaks directly to your struggle. You're learning the names of Allah, not just for knowledge, but for connection. This is not religion anymore. This is relationship. This intimacy with your Lord. This is the kind of strength no one claps for, but the angels record. And this is exactly how Allah prepares his servants for something higher. Think of Musa, Arabic teen, Arabic lamb, Arabic kid, Arabic cat, Arabic alif, Arabic cane, Arabic lamb, Arabic scene, Arabic lamb. He was isolated in Madian for years before prophethood. What was happening during that time? He wasn't leading people. He wasn't in the public eye. He was a shepherd, walking alone, learning patience, building his inner strength. He was in training, spiritual training, in private. Even the Prophet Muhammad Abdi had years of solitude and spiritual reflection before the revelation in the cave of Hira. Before he could carry the weight of the he had to anchor his heart privately with Allah. That's what's happening to you. You are being made into someone who can carry not just the romance of marriage, but the responsibility of one. Someone who will not fall apart when the tests come. Someone who will protect the bond with prayer. Someone who will lead or support their spouse not through control, but through taqwa. Someone who brings light into a home, not just feelings. And to become that person, Allah is building your private connection with him first. Because what is done in private is what sustains you in public. What no one sees is what holds you steady when life shakes you. Psychologically, this mirrors what is called intrinsic motivation. Powerful driver of behavior that's not dependent on praise or reward, but on deep internal alignment. This kind of motivation is what builds character, not just performance. And character is what sustains love when feelings fade. Your private worship is not small. Your quiet duos are not weak. Your hidden spiritual battles are not insignificant. They are soul building. They are training you to become someone who will love, lead, forgive, trust, and stay, not out of neediness, but out of conviction. You're not just preparing for a spouse. You're preparing for a marriage that reflects Rahmah, Sakina, and Mawaddah, the 3 qualities Allah mentions in the Quran when he talks about true love. But here's the beauty. You don't need anyone to notice this process, because Allah notices. He sees you when no one else does. And he is shaping you into someone that only a soul just as sincere will recognize, because people who are privately close to Allah are only matched with others who are too. This is the unseen preparation. This is the invisible strength. And this is how you know something prophetic is being written. 4, your does are becoming more sincere and focused. This might seem like a small shift on the surface, but it is one of the most powerful signs that Allah is preparing you for something extraordinary. Because when your does change, your soul is changing. When your does mature, you are maturing. When your does become clear, honest, specific, and heartfelt, you're not just asking anymore. You're connected. Think about how your does used to sound. Maybe they were rushed, generic. Ya Allah, give me a good spouse. Ya Allah, bless me with someone righteous. Yes, these are beautiful, but they were vague. There wasn't always depth, clarity, or emotional presence behind them. But now, it does come from a deeper place, from the heart of someone who has been through things, from the soul of someone who has bled, healed, grown, and realized they're not just looking for marriage. They're looking for a calling shared with another soul. You started to whisper, Ya Allah, give me someone I can pray with. Ya Allah, let them love you more than they love me. Ya Allah, don't just send me a spouse. Send me a mirror, a friend of the soul, someone who reminds me of you in their silence. Ya Allah, don't let me settle. Don't let me choose from my loneliness. Let me choose from my life. This is not just supplication. This is spiritual alignment. Your deal is no longer just a request. It is now a reflection of your heart's condition. And here's the miracle. When your does become sincere and focused, it means you are finally ready to receive. Because Allah only grants certain things when your vessel is deep enough to hold it. Let's go back to the Quran. Look at the DA of Prophet Zachariah, Arabic name, Arabic head, Arabica, Arabic hot, Arabic Khalif, Arabic scene, Arabic clam, Arabic leaf, Arabic meme in Surah Maryam. Rabbi Hab Limin Ladunka Duriatan, Tayyiba. My Lord, grant me from yourself a pure offspring. Look at the language. Not just children, not just to someone, but from you and a pure. It was focused, connected, and immediately after, so we answered, because his dove wasn't just a wish, it was an emotional surrender to the one who hears everything. Psychologically, this is a sign that your unconscious mind and your conscious heart are finally aligning. You are not just speaking with your tongue. You are now praying with awareness. And that level of awareness rewires your brain. It shifts your standard. It sharpens your vision. It quiets your desperation. Because the more sincerely you connect with Allah, the less you chase what is not meant for you. But when you finally say, yeah, if they are not good for me, take them out of my life, even if it hurts. That's when you know you're no longer asking from ego, you're asking from Iman. When your dues become this sincere, two things happen. One, Allah either sends you what you ask for. Two, or transforms you into someone who no longer needs it in the same way, and both are victories. Because both make you more whole. And whole people make holy marriages. You're not begging anymore. You're not rushing anymore. You're not scripting your future out of fear. You are trusting. You are realigning. You are learning how to love from a place of presence, not panic. When your does become sincere and focused, it means you stop trying to control your story and started inviting Allah to author it. And that's when everything begins to move. So don't underestimate the power of that quiet moment in sujood when you whisper your needs like a child in the dark, because that's when the gates of heaven open. 5, take a deep breath for this one. Because this final point, your character is being refined through repeated trials, is the heaviest, the longest, the most sacred form of preparation. And if you're going through it, you know exactly what I'm about to say. You're not just being tested randomly. You're not just having bad luck. You're not just dealing with hard moments. You are being sculpted. Every disappointment, every heartbreak, every delayed answer, every misunderstood intention, every door that slammed in your face, it is not punishment. It is refinement. Refinement is not pretty. It feels like fire. It feels like chaos. It feels like everything is being stripped away, broken apart, taken from your hands. But in reality, it is Allah shaping your soul, turning you into someone who can carry a love that reflects the akhirah, not just the dunya. Because here's the reality. Prophetic marriages are built on character, not just love, not just chemistry, not just attraction, but resilience, compassion, forgiveness, humility, patience, grit, loyalty, vision, not soft traits. These are the spiritual muscles that are only grown in trial. And that's what Allah is growing in you now. Let's break it down. You're learning patience because your plans keep falling apart. You're learning humility because you keep failing where you used to succeed. You're learning resilience because the world keeps testing your softness. You're learning boundaries because people keep crossing them. You're learning strength because you've been left alone to carry burdens you thought others would help you with. You're learning surrender because nothing else You're not just becoming better, you're becoming cleaner. You're being purified from arrogance, from pride, from entitlement, from ego, from the illusions you carried about love, life, and yourself. Look at the life Yusuf Arabic seen, Arabic lamb, Arabic kid, Arabica, Arabic Khalif, Arabicam, Arabic seen, Arabic lamb, Arabic Khalif, Arabic mean. Did Allah give him a righteous spouse while he was comfortable? No. First, he had to be betrayed by his brothers, then enslaved, then falsely accused, then imprisoned, then forgotten. Years of suffering, but every trial refined his character. Until he was not only emotionally ready to love, but spiritually ready to forgive, lead, and sustain a relationship with deep Rama. Or look at the Prophet Muhammad, let's be. Was he given Khadija, Arabic Krat, Arabic Ket, Arabic Khalif, Arabic Lamb, Arabic Kain, Arabic Kun, Arabic Kalabek Loon, Arabic K, Arabic Khalif, while he was living as a prophet? No. Oh. It's two people whose love is rooted in Rama, mercy, Sakinah, tranquility, and Mawada, deep affection. Not because of who they are, but because of who they become through Allah. It's the kind of love where you look at them in sujud and whisper, yeah, Allah, thank you. Because you know, only the fire you walked through could have refined you to receive someone like that. And only the does you cried with sincerity could have aligned your hearts in that way. And only the one who knows every secret of your heart could have written a story so precisely timed, so deeply healing, so clearly divine. So if you're waiting, wait with dignity. If you're praying, pray with honesty. If you're hurting, hurt with hope. And if you're healing, know that every scar is being recorded, not for shame, but for reward. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not being punished. You are being ready, polished, strengthened, aligned. Because the kind of love you're asking for requires the kind of soul you're becoming. One day, it will all make sense. One day, you'll look back and realize that heartbreak, it built your empathy. That delay, it grew your patience. That loneliness, it made space for Allah to fill. That storm, it taught you how to anchor your home in prayer. And when the time is right, not according to the world, but according to the Lord of the worlds. You will step into a marriage that doesn't just give you love, but gives you jhana. Not just in the hereafter, but in the quiet corners of your everyday. In the way you speak to each other. In the way you forgive each other. In the way you remind each other of Allah without saying a word. That is what you're being prepared for. That is what you're being shaped into. So don't give up. Not if, because your story is not over. It's just beginning, and Allah is still writing the best part. And when it arrives, it won't feel like fireworks. It'll feel like peace, like suju, like home. Like finally, your soul has met someone who heard the same whispers in the dark that you did. That's not just marriage. That's prophetic love, and you are being prepared for it every single day. Stay the course, trust the process. And most importantly, trust the one who is preparing your soul for something timeless, because when it's written by Allah, it's never too late and never too far away.